You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Spring portal window opens here on Wednesday. Brian Kelly met with reporters for the final time in spring Tuesday after practice and was asked about the approach in the transfer portal. Here's what he said.
I like our roster right now. It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't have anybody in the portal, either leaving our program or adding. If you ask me right now, I would be happy to take this roster right into May. Maybe that's fool's gold. Maybe that's wishing more than anything else. But I like what we've done with this roster. I like the development of it. Not all of that is in my control, obviously. But I can tell you we're not like actively saying we got to have this, we got to have that. If something shows itself that is an incredible opportunity, we're certainly going to investigate any time that we can help our football team. And so we're always going to be looking to help our team.
So there's a couple of things that surprised me there. Most notably is when he said that he wouldn't be surprised if there was no movement coming or going. Now, I could see very clearly a path where LSU does not add anyone for reasons we'll get to in a second. I will be, however, surprised if nobody leaves. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with Brian Kelly or the program or their direction or anything. It's just the nature of college football, not just at LSU, but quite literally everywhere. Everybody has players leave. It doesn't matter if you're Bama or Georgia or Texas or Ohio State or Michigan or Southern Cal. It just doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has guys leave because you can. And so when you go into this portal window after spring, keep in mind what's changed from the December portal window to now. You have guys on the roster that went through the 2024 season thinking, okay, spring's going to be my chance to take a step up. And then LSU goes and signs 16 guys in the transfer portal in December. You go through spring and all of a sudden you look up and you go, okay, well, if you're on, you thought maybe you were going to be on the 2 deep on the offensive line pushing for a starting job. And then here comes Braylon Moore and here comes Josh Thompson. And now you're running with the 3s. Or you look at the cornerback spot. And again, I'm not naming names because I don't know. I would tell you candidly if I did. I don't know names. I can just see scenarios where LSU was very intentional, that they went and added players and how it may push some young veterans down the depth chart. You went and added, obviously, Mansour Delane at one cornerback, Jakeem Jackson, another corner you brought in, DJ Pickett's an early enrollee. I could see how some young cornerbacks are looking around going, man, my path to the field just got a whole lot murkier. And look, Mansour Delane, I would be stunned if he's not starting the first defensive snap against Clemson at one boundary corner. He's the best guy you got. Like, you don't have to know a ton about football or scouting. You can go out there and go, oh, the tall, long, thickly built dude with good hips who can flip and turn, run, ball skills. Oh, yeah, like, he looks the part. He'll be on one side. I don't know who'll be on the other side. Ashton Stamps, is it Jakeem Jackson? Does DJ Pickett get run? PJ Woodland had a really nice freshman season last year. I don't know. So you could look at those spots. You could look at defensive end where you went and added 3 guys. And you didn't add 3 guys just to get you some depth. You added 3 guys to come in and be immediate starting impact dudes. I mean, Jack Pyburn's a 3-year player going to his 4th year. Patrick Payton's been playing for 4 years. Jamari Butler is a super senior coming in from Nebraska. All those dudes were brought into play immediately. So some young guys at that position may go, man, I got to sit here and watch and wait another year. Like, I could see a world where you're not anticipating those guys leaving, but because of what transpired in the December portal window and how you saw the rotation go in spring football, I could see guys leave. Again, it's not to say that they're unhappy or anything. It's just how college football works. Guys are going to leave. So I do think you'll see that. And remember, a year ago, you had 8 players leave in the spring portal window. mean, Brian Kelly was very intentional last year. It was a must. They had to add people at defensive tackle. They added JVR Suggs. They went and added a punter with Blake Oxendorf last year. But remember, you had 8 guys leave after spring football. Kai Preen, Ryan Yates, Fitzgerald West, John Emery, Christian Braithwaite, Bryce Langston, Jeremiah Hughes, Joe Cryer, Connor Gilbreth. All those guys left after spring football last year. So, John Emery ended up coming back after the Trey Holly situation. But point being, you can see, like, Preen was buried on the receiver depth chart. Yates and Hughes were buried in the defensive backfield. So, like, it makes a little, Joe Cryer on the offensive line. It makes a little sense. I'll tell you, there's probably 3 wants. If you break it down into wants, needs, musts, there are no needs or musts. Brian Kelly very appropriately said, like, he would take this roster into May and June, July, and August. Like, he would. They added 16 guys via the portal. They added one of the top high school classes in the country. You got a bunch of mid-years here with Carius Kern and DJ Pickett and Harlem Berry, dudes that are going to be impactful guys as freshmen. And then you can look to who's coming in the fall as well with the rest of that class. Like, yeah, your roster should be able to compete as is. But I would tell you there's 3 wants. Like, if the right person is in the portal, it's not like you're going hunting, but if the right person goes into the portal, you'd get them. And the most notable would be a defensive tackle, not just a body, because you got 9 scholarship defensive tackles. You got Jacoby and Guillory coming back for a 6th year. The 2 freshmen from this year that are stepping up, Ahmad Bro and Don McKinley, they looked really good this spring. Like, they look like they're ready to take a step forward. You brought in Sadir Mitchell. You got Sean Washington back. You got 4 true freshmen coming in. A couple of those guys participated in spring football. So you got bodies. You got 9 interior defensive tackles is plenty. What you don't have is someone who's been a proven starter. Like, the guy with the most experience is Jacoby and Guillory. He started 5 games in his career. He's played 40, but he started 5. So if you got a guy that's been a 2-year starter at a Power 4 school that started 20-plus games, goes into the portal, yes. Okay, come on. Yes. That's one you're interested in. I think safety is an interesting spot. Another spot where you have numbers, you don't have great experience. TaMarcus Cooley, who you brought into the portal, has experience, and I think is going to be a starter. And you got Jordan Gilbert, again, who didn't participate in spring. And Jordan, I think by everyone's understanding, was not very good last year, but he also played the entire season with one arm. I mean, he had a bum shoulder that kept popping out of socket, so he's playing safety in the SEC with one arm. That's unenviable. Had the surgery, get healthy, get right. I think Jordan Gilbert can be a good player. Gilbert Cooley could be great. And then you've got young guys like Toviano and Spears and Joel Rogers. So, yes, I think that can look good at safety. But if you got a 30-game starter from a Power 4 school that's an all-conference caliber player that goes in the portal and is interested, you take that call. And lastly, I would tell you is offensive tackle. Maybe the most encouraging thing out of this spring is that as much rotation as we saw with the LSU offensive line, and it's one of the things we talked about a lot. I mean, every single time we did a practice report, I was out there at the spring scrimmage on Saturday, always looked at the offensive line and how they were shuffling. But mostly with the ones where the rotation was on the interior. I mean, I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but I'm fairly certain every time we looked at the ones, especially in the second half of spring, Tyree Adams was your left tackle, Weston Davis was your right tackle. I think early in spring, maybe Bo Bordelon was taking some reps with the ones at right tackle. But where we saw the rotation was Chester and Braylon Moore at center. Paul Mabenga, Josh Thompson at left guard. DJ Chester, Cohen Eccles at right guard. Like, that's where we saw the rotation. And I think it is paramount that Adams and Davis win those starting tackle jobs and prove to be very good SEC caliber starting tackles. It's not going to be Will Campbell, Emory Jones. At least not immediately. But if those dudes lock down their spots, that's massive for this offense because I believe Braylon Moore is going to be your starting center and is an all-conference caliber center. And I believe Josh Thompson's going to start at one of the guard spots. And so now you got 3 other dudes vying for a starting guard spot that could be a rotation, could be depth. Like, you're going to be in a really good spot. But it all hinges upon those tackles winning their jobs and being really good. Because if they're not, then you probably have to kick Josh Thompson out to play tackle. That means you're then probably playing Paul Mabenga at left guard. And so everybody is just not in their preferred spot. And so you have that domino effect, kind of like what happened when Garrett Dellinger was injured and you had to put Paul Mabenga in. So tackle could be a spot that they look at if the right guy is there. But the ideal situation really is have the guys that you have there really just put a stranglehold on those jobs. It's a 10-day portal window. Again, not expecting LSU to be an active buyer. But if the right player at the right position is there, I do think they'll take him. But I think those are the positions you're looking at. Defensive tackle, maybe a safety, maybe an offensive tackle. Again, if the right person jumps in the portal. I think the bigger, the more likely movement is going to come with guys leaving the program, and that'll give you a much better sense of what your 85 will look like when you hit fall camp in August. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.